Hello, my darlings. Ciao, ciao. Buongiorno. I hope you're having beautiful days today. As promised, today we are talking about Lilith. And I had told you guys that I would do the video in my art and in my paint. So hello, welcome. My name is Sarah. I am a healer and artist. I am a starseed, a consciousness from a different time and space that came down to the planet during this time of the awakening to help the human beings and help you kind of like make sense of all the woo that's going on and all of the like spiritual mumble jumble and the jargon and just like, what are you talking about, Sarah? This astrology and this tarot, like what's going on? It's like, however you can deal with your own stuff and come back as the most authentic, most healed version of yourself in this world, that's all we need of you. That's all we need of you. So myself as a healing artist and a performative healing artist is that like during a time where I am clear and channeling, I put the paint on my body and then wrap myself in the canvas. As you can see, this thing is like 62 by 3 yards and I've been working on it for a little while, just layer upon layer upon layer. And so I wanted to really talk to you about Lilith. I've mentioned her. She's right over here in Leo. She's at 28 degrees of Leo, so she's finishing up her transit in Leo. And well, first let's talk about the myth of Lilith. And I'll reference, this is an incredible book that I've referenced, and it's really like the amount of beautiful information in this. I couldn't recommend that higher, so definitely go check out that book. Lilith, Healing the Wild by Tom Jacobs. And so it's really the myth of Lilith. As we know, Lilith was the first wife of Adam. Adam had, in the beginning, Adam was alone, the only human. And Adam noticed that every animal in the world had a counterpart. And so he was confused and he was like, well, who the fuck is my counterpart? So he went out and he attempted to mate with every single species, or maybe not every single one, but a significant amount. And to the point where he didn't find his natural mate. And he was like, God, what the fuck? And so God was like, okay, I'll make you an equal. And so Lilith was not made from the rib of Adam. Lilith was made by God, an equal partner, just like every animal has a partner. Adam had a partner. And so they, this is Sarah's version of the Lilith myth also, so definitely do your own research on it. But they had a whole bunch of babies, and at a certain point in time, Lilith recognized that she wanted to be, kind of get on top every once in a while and have some equality. Not domineering, not dominatrix, but just equality. That was it. And Adam was like, that's cute. Absolutely not. And finally, they cited irreconcilable differences, and Lilith had to go. She had to leave. She was shunned. God was like, take your kids and get the fuck out of here. And so in the book, it's referenced that they were kind of like shunned over to someplace like by the Red Sea. And in myth, it was kind of like, I'm starting to stick. In myth, it was kind of like where all like the demons lived. And so Lilith, was keen to just make friends wherever she was and was like, okay, well, this is where I'm going to be. You're going to be here. We can be friends. And she was just chilling with her kids and she was happy and fine. And so eventually Adam got lonely and said to God, what the fuck? Bring her back. And so one day God sent, I think it was 2 angels to Lilith and said, you got to go back. You got to go back to your mans, or God will turn your children immortal. And Lilith was very confused because when she left, God had entrusted her to watch over children and to be there for kiddos and to help those that really couldn't help themselves. Like, just because she was divorced doesn't mean that she's this like overly fucking wild, untamable thing. She was like, I just wanted equality. And so this doesn't make sense. She was like, that is very shocking to me because God, that goes against what God had entrusted me to do. If God's changing and turning my children mortal so that I have to watch them die as punishment, he entrusted me to watch over children, so that really doesn't make sense. So Lilith said no. She's like, I'm not going back. Like, that goes against what I was told, and that doesn't align with my values. So she stayed. And true to his word, God turned her children mortal, and she had to watch them die. And in the myth, she just is this enraged, sad, like miserable, shocked, demonized being that's just like it's like the end. Which is like, that's not the end. What we learned from that myth is that you do not go against God. Apparently, like, God lies to you in that myth. And if you go against God, you will be shunned. You, like, do not ask for equality. Do not step out of line, ladies. Like, I referenced ladies. We all have Lilith in our chart. I'll get to that soon. But so it's like, sorry, the paint is drying. And it's like, this is normal for me. So hold on one second. I'm just going to put this down for 1 second. It's normal. Okay. So, this is my daily life. This is how I process. So, and it's because I am stepping into healing my Lilith and really accepting that side of myself. I, in this moment, look at myself like a frickin' like golden retriever puppy that's like, I just want to teach and I just want to help, and your babies are speaking telepathically to you. It's so exciting. And then it's like, is she naked under there? What? I live in the North Shore of Massachusetts, so we're Puritans around here. So it's like, as much as people accept diversity in certain ways, they really don't. They really don't. Hold on, I need my coffee. Hold on. Sorry, this is a very vulnerable video for me. So thank you for being here. I appreciate every single one of you. And so what this book really references is that we all have Lilith in our chart, and we all have Lilith is in the sky right now. And there's so much to unpack, whether it's like the true black moon Lilith, the mean Lilith, the void in the sky. There's no actual like planetary body that is a black moon Lilith. It's like a void in the sky. So because I'm not going to literally open this book and read it. Please make a notation and just do your own research into it. Like, look into this book, look into what Lilith you want to follow. There's definitely like two in the sky. There's either like the mean or the true. So right now, I go off of the true. Lilith right now is at 28 degrees of Leo, and Lilith is going to go into the sign of Virgo next month. On October 3rd. This is coming up. So that's exciting. And Lilith is in each sign for 9 months. So it's very connected to the feminine, and it's a full gestation period. So, okay, so we've talked about the myth that is Lilith. Now let's look at the fact that every single one of us on this planet has this planetary body in their chart. Now, this is the planets in the sky as I'm talking. Let me get my... Sorry. So these are the planets right now as I record this in the sky. The moon just went into Sagittarius over here, and we have Lilith in our house of play, creativity, romance, childlike spirits, kiddos if you want those. And I think that the only real theme in the northern hemisphere that I can reference that's like a way for you to kind of see, like, when Lilith was in Cancer, this was like very emotional. This was, if it's like 9 months ago or something like that, that was last year. And then this year, Lilith has been in Leo. The biggest thing for myself that I've noticed is the thong bikini trend that is now like normal. Like, I have a brazen thong bikini. Like, it's not in any way, like, there's no specific archetype of woman that I see on the beach that has thong bikinis. I see some thong bikinis that are just like the archetype of like a very feminine, and then I just see like tomboyish people with a thong bikini. Everybody's just got a thong bikini now, because it's just like, wouldn't it be nice if we were able to just like the freedom of a gentleman just being able to like take his top off, like mowing the lawn? Like, it's not overly sexual. I don't really have any desire to be sexualized. I would just love that freedom. You know? Just to be, and not have to be sexualized or in any way demonized for just being out there in public. So the thong bikini, I find, is a nice way to really think of the lens of Leo and the lens of Lilith, especially when it comes to the astrology. I think Lilith going into Virgo, I haven't even thought about this. Let's see what comes through. What do we think about Lilith in Virgo? What do we think that that's going to bring? we're going to be very specific as to who we will allow into our sacred spaces now. So I think that that's going to match with the nodes. South node in Libra, North node in Aries. It's a lot about the I am. And so Virgo is definitely everyday life, practical service, but it's also the health axis, Virgo and Pisces. So when Lilith goes into this house, I really feel as though like it's just going to be very practical. Like if you're overly sexualizing me, you can go. If you're not honoring my boundaries, you can just go. We made these rules before the scene and you did not honor them in the scene, you can just go. Like it will be very cut and dry. It will be, you do not have access to this. That's interesting. Now I'm going to talk about Lilith going back out into the wild. Once you accept and nurture and nourish your Lilith, and it's something that Tom Jacobs speaks so eloquently about, he gives like steps of going back out, accepting and nurturing your Lilith, because as human beings, we can't just say, oh, I make you uncomfortable. Okay, I'm going to go over here and just not, like, I'm just going to live my life like in a hole, shunned. We're not doing that shit anymore. Like, we're showing up. And if you have a problem with me showing up, that is a you problem. That is a you problem. I'm not coming in here sexualizing. I'm not doing this. You have sexualized me. You have seen the essence of Lilith all up in this business. And you can't shun the wild. You can't. This is raw and authentic, and it's how we can nurture and accept ourselves. So I'll definitely leave that there. Now I would like to just, sorry, this is a little bit choppier, as like, I'm an Aries Ram, conjunct Jupiter, Scorpio rising, conjunct Pluto. I like literally have said thousands of times, you just press record and I'm fine. I will swan dive into concrete. I've done all sorts of things, but this is very vulnerable for me. So I apologize if I seem a little bit nervous. It's because I kind of am, or my human is. My consciousness and my guides are like, fuck yeah, queen, do this, do this, do this. But it's, you know, it's one thing to put together a little clip of what I go through and a little bit of like me dancing and nurturing and giving my inner adolescent or my inner child a space to play, but to actually connect with you in this vulnerable of a space is a big step for me. So I'm really proud of myself. I'm really proud of my human. But what I find that these canvases are, because I'm going to wrap back around to me and just talk about like, why do you roll in paint, Sarah? Why are you covered in paint where you're talking to me? Why is this canvas that you're working on about Lilith? Like, what the fuck is going on? I've been with you and I'm following your teachings, and you're a healer and an artist and I respect your teachings, but like, you're kind of a little bit of like you're kind of covered in face paint right now. You're kind of covered in paint. So like, talk to me, Ghost, what's going on? So I'm a huge advocate for plant medicine as far as working with traumas that are too big from childhood, past life traumas, deep sexual traumas, so many different things. I'm a huge advocate for plant medicine, and I will butcher this, but what the, mushes do is that they take the chemicals in your brain that you've labeled as trauma or something that you cannot unpack, and they shrink them down to bite-sized pieces. So usually the day after your trip is when you release, and it's just like, I like to think of it as all these like little bubbles of trauma coming out of your system, and you're like, I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid anymore. This can go. This can go. But we're multidimensional beings. A lot of us have experienced past life sexual trauma. I have a whole video on that. So please, I have a whole playlist for all of my past life tales, but the past life tales of sexual trauma, if that's something that you're interested in, or if as I'm saying this vibrationally, you're just like intrigued, give yourself a time where you are grounded and feel safe and comfortable and confident to just watch that video or just listen to it, because the vibrations will bring up a little bit of remembrance. And please, my email address is always listed below to book a private session, to book a call. So please, I do half-hour sessions. I do full sessions. We can do intuitive questions as well. If you're interested, like don't ever feel as though you cannot reach out to be helpful. You cannot reach out if you need some assistance within this reality. So when it comes to why I do what I do with myself, and this is something that I offer with clients as well, when something is too big And we can't be taking plant medicine every fucking day. When something is too big to process, let's put it in the paint and let's make a canvas out of it. And let's make some art out of it. And let's really take what we've gone through and heal it in a way that doesn't have to make sense. We get it out and we put it into the art. And then you can either keep that canvas and you can put it up on the wall and you'll be like, that's me. That's my healing. Or that's my booty. Or there's certain canvases that I have made, and I shit you not, I've come out of them, and the next day I look at the canvas, I was like, that is too much pain, and I've thrown them away. Because the pain has gone from me. And it went into the art, and went into the canvas, and I just throw it away. It was just literally violent pain in that canvas. And so much of what I'm going through is quantum and galactic, and I still don't really, I will sit in front of some of my paintings as if I'm for hours. For hours. They're so healing and so incredible and so abstract and galactic. It's some of the most, I'm excited for this canvas because it's so much has gone into it and so much has come out of it. And it's just, I'm very excited to share it with you. It's super huge. But so if you are going through something, or if you feel as though you've been overly sexualized and you really aren't that version of you anymore, don't tuck it away and throw it away. Look at it. Love yourself. What's some music that you can put on and really sink into your feminine? Your divine feminine, honey bunches. Your divine feminine. Yeah. I'm fully divine. I'm not going to give any disclaimer. This is divine feminine and divine masculine. If you know, you know. And for the divine masculine, you have Lilith in your chart too. So you accepting your overtly, I'm going to say sexual side, or maybe there are some gentlemen out there that really appreciate, this is going to get sexual, really appreciate BDSM, really appreciate healthy non-monogamy, really appreciate all these different things, but maybe at a certain time they were with someone that was not for them. That wound needs to be healed. You finding your divine masculinity and really nurturing and nourishing your Lilith is advantageous for your growth, for your soul's growth. Don't get me wrong. I am an extremely I have a very conservative belief system. I really do. Really, really do. So we're all these multidimensional diamonds, or disco balls, or a fly's eye. There's so many facets to ourselves. So why on earth would we ever just leave one rusty, leave one cloudy? No. Give ourselves the chance to be a whole, beautiful, polished diamond, and look at every single component to yourself. And what if you didn't look at it as a negativism and something you had to swallow up? What if you let it out? What if you gave it a stage? What if you gave it a spot? In the same way, when you go to yoga and you have your mat and you can go all over your mat. When I get onto the canvas, I go all over the canvas and I have so much fun with it, and I'm running around and I'm free. And it's every single component to my being is open and raw. It's wild. It's wild. It's really our reptilian brains that convince us that we're not animals. That's it. And we're I had heard this somewhere, I forget where it was, where it's we're the least adapted animals on the planet because we have to wear clothes, which I found fascinating. Isn't that fascinating? We're the least adapted animals on the planet because we are not in our normal bodies ready to deal with the outside, the weather and things like that. Isn't that funny? Isn't that interesting? It's almost like there is some galactic intervention in that one or something, but I'll just leave that there. All right, I'm sticking to the canvas. I am going to get up and I'm going to clean all of this up. I'm so grateful for you being here. This was a very, very vulnerable post, and I'm so grateful for every single one of you. Please comment your questions, any sort of comments, anything, like come at me, bro. That's so okie dokie. And if you are interested in a one-on-one call, a one-on-one session, please, my email address is listed below, and I'm here for you. Ciao, darlings. I love you so much. Where is Lilith in your chart? What sign? What house? For me, I have Lilith in Cancer at the very, very end of my 8th house. I know. Chiron's in there too. I have Chiron and Lilith in my 8th house. I love you. Thanks for being here. I'll talk to you soon.